Well, I got my hands on the Medal of Honor Warfighter beta, which is basically the demo for online. I'm really liking it so far. Actually, I'm with the Australian team, and you can see that I'm with the Australian team because it's got the Australian flag on the gloves and everything. And yeah, because this gun's the EBR, and I thought the EBR was gonna be a sniper, because you know how in Modern Warfare 2 the EBR is a sniper. So when I got it, I pulled the trigger once, and then I realized like about 3 bullets shot out, and I was like, wow, this is a automatic weapon. So you know, I thought that was great, because I thought it was just gonna be a sniper, so I'm like, I don't really like that. And I think the Australian class is probably the best. I don't know, just I think the gun and the damage on the gun is really good. I think that they did a really good job. I mean, I know this is just a beta, but it's really hard to work out what to do with your classes, like to change the paint color or anything. I don't know, I just think it's really like complicated the way they did it. And I just find it really hard to change classes. I don't know. And I think as you level up, you unlock the point man for the Australian soldier or the Australian SASR, because if you go to create, or well, not create, if you go to classes, to be a point man you have to be Swedish or Canadian, I think. No, Swedish. And as you unlock, you unlock, I mean, as you progress in the multiplayer, you unlock classes for the Australian SASR. So it's kind of complicated. But yeah, so if you wanted to be a heavy, you'd have to be the German, and if you wanted to be a sniper, you'd have to be the Koreans. So, and I think as you progress, you unlock the sniper for Australian, and then you unlock the heavy for Australian, and it's like that. And it's alright, I guess, typical DICE game doing that. But see the Australian flag? That looks pretty cool on the gloves though. I reckon they did an awesome job with that. And I reckon the skin on the person, when you see their arms, I don't know, I'm a bit picky like that with the graphics, but when you see the skin on their arms, just see it, just watch it, I mean, look at it, and it doesn't look, the graphics don't look very good, so I think they need to change that a bit. They need to make the skin look a bit more real. And look at this, look at my gameplay, sit down, 10% health left, and you know what, I had a mortar strike, and I didn't know how to, I actually didn't know at the time that I had a mortar strike. Look at that, look at that precision aiming. And at the time, I didn't know I had a mortar strike. I was like, okay, and then I looked at the gameplay after, and I was like, oh, is that how you know you get the kill streaks? Because I knew there was kill streaks in this game, so I was like, where are my kill streaks? And then they're up the tiny little icon in the upper left corner, and so that sucks, because I could have used that, and then I ended up getting a I forgot what they call it again, a missile. You can control the missile. Yeah, I got one of them, but obviously I didn't know that I had the kill streak, so I couldn't have used it, and I was like, oh, so I missed out on that. And then in a couple of games after, I got it again, not the missile, but the mortar strike. I think you get the mortar strike after 2 kills, so I'm happy with that. I'm not complaining, but this beta's been awesome. Yeah, I don't really I don't think I'll have even the money to buy this game, because Black Ops is costing me like $80 in Australia. So this game would probably be like $80 as well. So it's just heaps of money. So I'll probably have this after Black Ops, because when Black Ops 2 dies down, then I'll probably get this game. Because you know how, like, I don't want to get this game, post videos, and then when Black Ops 2 comes out, I'll just keep posting videos from that, and then leave this game out, which I don't want to do, because this game's awesome. and it's more like Call of Duty. That's what I like. That's what or even the first Medal of Honor, 2010. Well, that's not the first Medal of Honor. I think the first one was the airborne one, but Medal of Honor 2010, that reminded me of Call of Duty, and that's what I loved. And even though I didn't really play it that much, I just thought that the controls were better, the way the person runs, like, and just the way the movements are not as glitchy like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield Bad Company 2. I just think this game, Medal of Honor series, full stop, is the best. I think maybe because Danger Close knows what they're doing. I mean, maybe DICE knows what they're doing, but you know, nah. So look at this. I'm getting a lot of kills, and it's weird how you start off with the scope. I don't know why you start off with the scope, but you know what I mean. I reckon that's a bit weird. Usually you unlock scopes, but obviously in this game you don't. Well, maybe it's just the beta, so they probably gave you the scope for starting with in the beta, and then they'll probably give you, you know, when the game comes out, they probably won't give you a scope. They'll probably just let you do it from start. Look at this guy. How did I get this guy? I mean, he should have had me, right? Action commendation. And I know you're in like fire squads, which is really weird. You sort of got a squad, but it's a squad of 2, which is really weird. I don't know how that's gonna work. It's a bit weird. But what I think about this game is that it's kind of stupid letting us pick our countries, because we can just change them. But as well as, okay, for example, the other day I was look at that guy lying down. Anyway, for example, the other day I was in a match, and I got killed, and it shows you the flag that who killed you, like which country, and it was an Australian, and obviously I picked the Australian as well. And I was like, what's the point on picking your country when your country is gonna kill you anyway? You know what I mean? They should have like all the good guys, like the Americans, the Australians, the Swedish, the Canadians, and the British all together. And they should have the Russians, the Koreans, the Germans, who else? You know, them type of people together. So you got the Americans, Australian, British, Swedish, Canadians on a team, and then you got the Russians and all that on the other team. So it's not like Australians killing Australians. Like, what's that? You know, that's kind of stupid. I don't even know why they even added that in. You know, that's pathetic. That's stupid as hell. You know, it's just picking our own countries, but then again, we're versing our own countries as well. It's like, what? I think they just added that in because they were bored or something, or they wanted people to be like, oh, we can add your own country, yeah. And then, I don't know, I just find that really, like, pathetic. Like, there's no reason for you to pick your own country when you're just killing them anyway. You know, I killed an Australian guy today, and I was like, what the hell? You know, shouldn't he be on my team? You know, I find that really weird. I don't know why they did that. They must have just been drunk at that convention table or something. Or not convention, on that meeting table. They must have had ideas, and they must have been all, you know, out of it with vodka or something. Because, see, look at that. An Australian guy killed me just then. And I thought that was crazy. I was like, what? It's like, how? You should be... Oh, man, I don't know. If anything, you should be buddied up. You know how you have fire teams, squad? Like Delta and Bravo? You know, I was in Bravo the other day. I was paired up with a German, and I was Australian, obviously. So, I don't get that. Because, I mean, I know Germany and Australia and all them are allies now. Well, not allies, just neutral, you know. But you'd think that they would have bad guys, you know. You think that, well, at least they would pair you up with another Australian. And if you're American, they'd pair you up with another American, you know what I mean? Not just... So you'd have your fire squad as your same country. And what also I think is weird, you know how they radio stuff to you? They're like, oh, you know, enemy UAV online or something like that. I find, because when I picked the Australian team, it had an American guy's voice going, enemy UAV or enemy mortar strike incoming. I'm like, but I picked the Australian team, why isn't he speaking Australian? And you know how you go deploy? And he goes, alright, I'm on my way. He sounded American. He had an American accent. He's like, alright, I'm on my way. It's like, what? He should be like, alright mate, I'm on my way, or something like that, you know? It's like, what? You know, like, they had an American guy, an American voice on my soldier when I picked the Australian. Like, that just doesn't make sense. I mean, I know it's a beta. I know it is, but chances are it's going to be like this in the real game too. So, I don't know. But look at this cheesy. I was just killing these guys. And I had a missile. I don't know what that was. That wire thing, I think that was like a booby trap or something, like a claymore type thing. Wire something. Anyway, I don't know. But, yeah, my review, this beta is actually really awesome. I'm loving it. I can't get off it. I mean, I'm glad that I have an Xbox still. So look at my guy. He comes around the corner. That's my fire squad. But I'm glad that I have Xbox, because this is only on Xbox, this beta. So I can't believe I had it. I'm like, yes, I love my Xbox.